Hello? EastBenders. I've got to leave now then. I've just been recruited for the EastBenders podcast. See you, Ben.
Hello, I'm Ben.
Ben Fenlon!
You're back!
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
But what about EastBenders?
Oh, we don't talk about that. No.
Is it like an El Dorado moment of your life? Is it?
Listen, it was a great experience, you know, for legal reasons.
Oh, I've heard the rumours.
Do you need a lawyer? A smart lawyer?
Just had a brainwave. Occupational hazard with top lawyers like me.
So anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd like pop back into town and see what was going on, you know. How's it going?
Oh, well, you know, I've gone solo, but you know, it's
On my own, pretending he's beside me.
it's not going that well, but
You are terrible.
Well, have you recorded new opening titles?
Everybody needs good neighbors. That's when good neighbors become good friends.
Hello!
hello, I'm Ben,
And I'm Ben.
and we are
The neighbour.
friends.
Oh, it's good to be back, Babs. Good to be back.
There's no place like home, Ben.
Comebacks are all the rage at the minute. Guess who else is back? One of the all-time greatest Neighbours characters of all time.
We begged for a return, and the gods have listened.
Jason Herberson has done it for us again. Melanie Mangle is back.
Hello, weekend!
With
I have to say, she was in my all-time favourite Neighbours character list. She was comedy gold.
classic character and funny, heartwarming, moving, but she had all the emotions. What was great about Melanie was you were always rooting for her.
She was a comic character and she could have stayed a comic character, very two-dimensional, but they really fleshed her out. You know, she, like you were saying, she had all the emotions. She could really play those heart-wrenching stuff as well. I just wanted to give her a hug. And then obviously she fell in love with Joe Mangle.
And that, well, we all know how that ended.
And I shouldn't have married Joe. Two dumb mistakes.
And yeah, she just became like a neighbour that everybody loved. She was the original Dippy, wasn't she, with her Madame Zolga?
Yes, and what's great about the return of Melanie is that she's given us the nod that Madame Zolga is still alive.
Madame Zolga is still alive.
Hanging in there.
As she keeps telling me, it's not my time yet.
So fingers crossed we get a Dippy Madame Zolga showdown at some point in the future.
But welcome back, Melanie. We are so here for it, and we hope you stay for a long, 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 long time.
And in honour of your comeback, we are going to celebrate other wonderful and not so wonderful comebacks. Knock knock.
Who's there?
This resident showed no pride or prejudice in their quest for success. Awake or asleep, there was no hiding from this cunning resident. And there was certainly no lord of this precious ring.
Paul Robinson.
Darcy Tyler.
Ooh.
G'day.
Howdy, neighbour.
Best comeback for me by far.
I mean, I'm loving it.
In terms of his return wasn't contrived because he'd left under a cloud. He was shamed. He'd stolen from his family. He'd gone to prison. His return could have been kind of focused around plot, but there was character. It was character driven as well as plot driven, and his return kind of fed into a long-term story in the show, Izzy's baby lie.
I heard about the situation with Isabel. How far along is she?
Second trimester?
15 weeks.
So, it wasn't long after Carl and her got together that she fell pregnant?
No, it wasn't. Can we please talk about something else?
And that just added a whole new layer to that storyline. Him finding out Izzy was lying, there was blackmail, there was intrigue, there was attempted murder.
Why can't you just let me be happy?
There was comas. It was just wonderful.
What I think worked really well with the Darcy storyline is with him being a relative of the Kennedys, and obviously Carl being kind of right central to that plot. It really like wove in all the dimensions of the history of the characters and the family and the loyalty. And I can't believe they didn't bring him back during Ellie's stint.
Well, I don't think you'd find Darcy in a women's prison, would you?
Stranger things have happened, Bab.
He used to give me roses.
And Darcy had a bit with Dee, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Andrea's in prison, so oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine a Darcy Andrea hookup?
Bang!
The two of them scheming and plotting together. Oh.
I think knowing Darcy as well, he'd also have a bit with Nanny Alice.
I see you, baby, shaking that ass.
Oh yeah, because he came back twice within this whole story arc, and his second return when like Izzy and Carl were in a great place, and then it cut to the hospital, and it panned round his bed, and he woke up, and you just knew it was all kicking off again. He was back, and Izzy was gonna get it. Yeah, I think his return was just.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Element Survivor, a penchant for a Moroccan twist, and Horsey No More.
Drew Kirk. I just heard horse and went with it.
Close. Libby Kennedy.
Oh, of course.
She survived the water.
Liv, stay with me, Cat.
She had a penchant for a Taj.
Oh yeah, I thought it meant the soap opera as well that she was addicted to. Wasn't it a Moroccan soap opera?
Okay, Ben's asleep. No interruptions.
Quick, it's starting.
Wait, isn't that Isabella in bed with Antonio?
No. It's Antonio's twin brother. What's his name?
Raul. Hang on. He was decapitated.
Yes, but they never found the head.
Sort of grew back.
And obviously, Horsey No More, well, not actually lost her husband to a horse.
Drew!
It sounds like there was some weird love triangle between Drew, Libby, and a horse.
Who walks off into the sunset holding a hoof of a horse. Why I think Libby was the best comeback was because the character just brought so much life back into the family, and she had so many links to the show that actually that she slotted in really well, and it didn't feel contrived in any way. She came back with Ben.
Hey. Well, look at you.
She came back at a point when her mother really needed her, just as she was suffering from the MS. Her relationships were amazing with Steph, with Susan, with Carl, with all the other characters in the street.
Like you say, iconic. Everyone remembers Libby Kennedy or knows of Libby Kennedy, rather than like another random niece or nephew or someone coming into the show, apart from Darcy. Libby would be a good addition to that household.
I think it's very important that they maintain that like Kennedy, like dynasty. Just enriched the show and enriched the family, and she was still the same character, because I think sometimes when characters come back, they come back for a reason, but they're not the same characters. Anne Charleston talked about Madge a little bit, because Madge was going to be my best character comeback, but actually Madge's return was epic.
Harold? Sorry.
But then the character...
She was a bit diluted, wasn't she?
Yeah, and that's why Anne Charleston left, because this, Madge was such a larrikin of a lady, strong. When you think about those original arguments with Mrs. Mangle.
Harold Bishop, don't you dare! Don't you dare follow that woman into that house! She's very upset! So am I!
Whereas when she came back, she just was a bit, diluted.
She kept getting like thrown down the stairs, blinded, fires.
And actually, old Madge wouldn't have put up with anyone breaking into the coffee shop. She was like a Power Ranger.
She had the skills.
Stinking twice. Oh, easy.
But then when she came back for the 30th anniversary, she was back to old Madge. So, all was forgiven. But I think we could have added so many other best comebacks.
Amy Greenwood recently.
Yeah, it's been at least 20 years.
Yeah.
It'll look exactly the same.
Just been a breath of fresh air on the show.
And I always love a Queen Lynn return,
Stop! No! Stop now!
Lynn? What the hell are you doing?
This can't go on.
She's had more comebacks than I've had hot dinners.
In front of all our friends and say,
I do.
Similar to Jane, her comeback has been just incredible.
Des coming back as well has been fantastic.
And also, look at 2 years ago when Paul and Therese were getting married and all the wives came back.
One of my all-time favourite storylines. That was brilliant. Yeah. Promo alone.
Wretch!
Swill belly.
Beast! Scoundrel!
Scoundrel.
Wretch! Swill belly!
You beast! But thou dost love him.
Knock knock!
Who's there?
They're a poet, and they do know it. They left no stone unturned as they searched amongst all the fishes in the sea. And life could be a drag for this resident, but they were soon quick to smell the gas.
Not Georgia, is it?
Georgia?
Don't be ridiculous!
I think you're confusing bizarre with unwanted.
Angie Rebecca? No.
No, Annalise Hartman.
Whatever.
She was a poet and she did know it. And I say bizarre because I loved the return of Annalise. She was wonderful to see her back. I say bizarre because it's how they brought her back.
What are you doing here in Erinsborough?
Oh, actually, I'm here for work. I'm with the BBC these days. I do documentaries.
as a documentary maker for the BBC.
Yeah, they were talking about doing a series on how small communities shape the lives of their inhabitants. You know, just a cheapie shot on digital. And I said, well, I know just the place to do a pilot.
Oh, Erinsborough.
Which paved the way for about 1,000 other returns in the show.
Take me home, take me home. I know another place to be. Take me home, take me home. You deserve a girl like me. Come on, I know somewhere you can unwind. We can just disappear. Now's the time.
But it was just bizarre that she'd be a documentary maker for the BBC and they'd commission a documentary where a bunch of people talk about people they used to know on a street.
Lou took me under his wing. Well, I can't thank you enough, Lou Carpenter. Anyway, Ramsay Street let me have my dreams. Everyone there. Harold, hi. Hey, it's my stepdad, Lou. Hope you're okay. I'm looking after Jack, Mrs. Scully.
I mean, it was fabulous. I absolutely loved it. The 20th anniversary episodes were incredible, and they did, like, it was comeback after comeback after comeback, but how they facilitated it. I think they slowly got better and better with the anniversary comebacks.
I mean, can you imagine tuning in Tuesday night on the BBC and watching this weird documentary about a street in Australia?
Oh my God.
Did Joe done mistake?
She's not going to take any shit.
Well, I suppose I could say
Cruella de Vil vibes.
I hear a hairdresser now, Janelle. Well, if you're watching this, love, I want to tell you I wouldn't let you touch my crowning glory after what you did to me last time. You'd be better off trimming hedges.
Well, congratulations on your new engagement.
This is gobsmacking.
This one's for you, darling.
Oh my God, she's a man-eater.
You'd want your TV licence back, wouldn't you?
Oh God.
What happened then?
What a shambles.
Maybe that's why it went to Channel 5. Annalise blew it.
For the BBC documentary maker, Annalise Hartman, bizarre.
No, we're admiring your talents as a filmmaker.
That's right, you make Michael Moore look like a fat bearded guy.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The original Ramsay Street nomad, good in a fire, strong bloodline yet to be explored.
Harold Bishop.
Sorry.
He saved Des from the coffee shop fire.
Get out! Get out!
But who saved Madge from the fire? One of the first fires, not in a latter run. Huh?
Bouncer.
Bouncer! He travelled all the way across Australia.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, Bouncer's gone missing.
Bouncer!
Yeah, apparently he didn't take to his new home.
He managed to get all the way back to Anson's Corner.
Oh, that was a Disney film in the making, wasn't it? Incredible Journey of Bouncer.
Worried about Bouncer.
Oh, darling, I'm sure you'll be all right.
Yeah, but how will he find his way back to Toby if he doesn't know the area?
Get out of there, you rotten mutt. Go on, get!
I'm surprised he didn't do a spin-off. Annalise could have presented it. Now that would have made more of a documentary sense.
I'd watch that.
Bouncer was the original nomad. I mean, Jesus Christ. He paved the way for all the delinquents that come on Ramsay Street and move into every single house.
Oh, yeah, he got around, didn't he, Bouncer?
Oh, he did. The dirty dog.
Kissy Hoyland had nothing on Bouncer.
What? How dare you?
Now, I'm surprised you brought up a dog, considering that's your weak spot.
I know, but it's your strong spot, so I was just being very kind to you, Ben.
Well, so far, neither one of us have got any points. What other bizarre comebacks? You immediately think of Harold Bishop and Dee now, and you've got
Cindy
Ruth.
Watts.
Cindy Watts, yes.
Can I come in?
Drew coming back as a cancer.
Jim coming back in a bauble.
Madge as a ghost. You've got there's tons of weird and wonderful returns.
Yeah, and weird and wonderful doesn't mean bad.
It's what makes Neighbours Neighbours, isn't it? Knock knock.
Who's there?
If I could talk to the animals, I'd give ducks and spiders a wide berth. I love a bit of Lana Del Rey on the radio, and I feel blue and look blue, but not in a bad way.
Sky Mangle.
Yes. You got a point!
This is controversial indeed.
This is a tale of two halves. This is a double-edged sword. Her return last year, initially, for the Wedding Expo, reuniting with Lana, getting married to Lana, was wonderful. So moving, wonderful. I loved it. It's the bit that came after.
Mark? Mark? Mark?
Detective Mangle?
I kind of lost all essence of Sky in a quest to send Ellie to prison for a crime she didn't commit. It didn't feel like that should be Sky playing that role. Sky should have left with Lana to go on honeymoon.
What, and then Misty comes back.
Yeah, that would have been fine. She could be the bad cop. It just didn't sit right with me that Sky was so determined to send Ellie to prison after her own experience of being sent to prison for a crime she didn't commit.
Sky Mangle, you're under arrest for the murder of Terence Chesterton. You are not obliged to say or do anything unless you wish to do so.
It wasn't Sky to me.
Well, yeah, I think I do agree about the police bit. She was a contender for my best comeback, but more so because I was referring to her comeback in the early noughties from being a child to...
Yeah.
Because I thought that was a great comeback, and her links to Harold.
Oh.
It started the rebuild of Harold's family, because after Madge had died and Paul and Tad had flown the nest, it felt like Harold was just bumbling around, but then obviously Sky came along.
Brightly shone the moon that night.
And then obviously we had the whole her exploring her sexuality, and it got a bit batshit crazy once she got in with the Timmins later on down the line. But
yeah.
I would have heralded that as a really good comeback. Knock knock.
Not today, thanks.
Wine before lover. Jill was never needed. A doughy mess.
Kate Ramsey?
When did Kate Ramsey return?
Oh no! I thought because Jill was
That's my clue. My fourth. Yeah, wine. The body of Christ. Blood of Christ.
Was his name Jack?
Jack.
I'm Paige, and you are?
I can't remember.
Jack and Jill. Well, he didn't need a Jill, did he? Because, you know, and a doughy mess, because when he came back, he was John Doe.
You talk about his return last year?
Yes.
35th.
Because it was just unnecessary. He wasn't the greatest of characters the first time round. His return didn't add anything. In fact, actually, the story could have been done over the phone, because for Mark and Paige to get married, like literally 2 days after her breaking up with Jack, and Jack sat there holding Gabe, like all happy families, it was a little bit far-fetched.
Out of all the returns last year, his perhaps was you could have done without.
I would have rather they brought back Piper as Paige's sister, or Lauren. Drama could have come from elsewhere.
Yeah, but he's nice to look at, though. Any other worst returns?
Lance.
Lance?
I just never liked Lance as a character. I always found him the most dullest character.
Oh.
Sarah Beaumont's second return.
I am convinced, because she came back for the hotel death trap, wasn't she? Begging Carl to look after her son. I am convinced that story was meant to be an Izzy story.
Oh, yes.
Convinced. It would have made more sense, Izzy coming back, begging Carl to look after Holly, their daughter.
Yeah, that's true.
Whilst she has this near-death experience.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And the only other bad, and not because it's bad character, but I just think they didn't really do anything with her, was Debbie Martin.
But there was, she did have that love triangle with Danny and Luke. And it gave us that delicious, probably one of the worst slaps in Neighbours history. But it was a very dynasty moment because it was the opening of Danny's fashion shop.
Jenny Stack. But there's been many good, bad, and ugly comeback. Who's been your best, worst, and bizarre comeback?
Tell us in the comments below, and also maybe tell us who you'd love to see make a comeback this year.
I just don't think they can get better than Melanie. And I got a point.
Oh, you won.
Wow. And you guys show us some love. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like. Give us a retweet.
Please.
And we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time for our season finale.